Hey guys, how you doing? Hopefully you're doing okay. Gonna read through the majority of the article here. There's a link in the description. I need to give you a trigger warning. This is a very dark subject. It's in regards to the murder of a 6-year-old boy from Arkansas. His body was found underneath the family home's floorboards. It's believed that he was discarded underneath the floorboards, hidden underneath the floorboards, after he died due to injuries that he sustained. Beaten. It's believed that he might have been hidden underneath the floorboards up to 3 months ago. He was found on Friday, just gone. Again, this happened in Arkansas. We're going to go through the full details. If you appreciate the coverage, please do like, comment, subscribe, share the video as you see fit. The mother of 2 young children in Arkansas has been arrested, along with her boyfriend. Yes, that's right. Both the mother and the mother's boyfriend have been arrested in relation to the discovery of the body of her 6-year-old son. He was found underneath the floorboards of their family home. The Banshee, the mother, her name Ashley Rowland, 28 years of age. The scumbag, mother's boyfriend, that term we keep on hearing, Nathan Bridges, 33. They're both being held in the Lee County Jail, and they have faced multiple charges each. Capital murder, abuse of a corpse, tampering with physical evidence, endangering the welfare of a minor. It's believed that the boy, the 6-year-old son of Ashley Rowland, it's believed that he died from injuries sustained in the home, and it's believed that he may have died up to 3 months ago. Further, police are also investigating the burns on the scalp of a 6-year-old girl who was also found in the home. That 6-year-old girl is the sister of the 6-year-old boy. So this article doesn't clearly state that, but we're going to look at a GoFundMe. I'll just flick over to that quickly. Here is the boy concerned, and here is the girl concerned. The boy was found dead underneath the floorboards, and the girl, his elder sister, I believe, was found with burns to her scalp. So thankfully the girl is in hospital. She's in a stable condition, but she was found with burns on the scalp. So the Daily Mail article has blocked out her face. Here is the family home in a town called Morrow, if I pronounce that correctly. A small community about 70 miles west of Memphis, Tennessee. So Morrow, Arkansas. Okay, so the story gets quite sad. Well, I mean, it is sad, but, you know, we're going to get a bit of an insight of how tragic this situation is. The children's grandmother, named Karen. I'll show you a picture of Karen. We'll come back to that picture in a moment. Here's Karen. The children's grandmother, named Karen, had also been trying to gain custody for over a year. There's a GoFundMe which has been arranged on behalf of Karen. They've raised a little over their relatively modest $10,000 goal. So there will be a link in the description to this GoFundMe if you feel this is an appropriate cause. If you're in a position to contribute, then you know, perhaps that's something that you're able to consider. Personally, I think $10,000 is a very modest goal, considering it involves, you know, the death of a child, which is just going to involve expenses, a burial, a ceremony, as well as the injuries sustained by his elder sister as well. So to me, that's a very modest goal. I'm glad that they've reached that goal, but I imagine that they're able to continue to go beyond that. Again, if you guys were in a position to consider donating. So as I say, the grandmother Karen has been trying to gain custody of both children for quite some time, for more than a year. We don't know the full ins and outs, but clearly she was concerned for their welfare. And finally, she received a court order allowing her to see the children on weekends. This happened only last week. Apparently, she had to pay a lot of money to the legal system to get to that point. But finally, she was granted permission to see her children on weekends. So, she travelled to the home in the community that we mentioned, Morrow, about 70 miles west of Memphis, Tennessee. She travelled to pick up the children on Friday. The girl was in poor condition, burns on the scalp. She had to be rushed to hospital. I'll show you a picture of the girl. There she is. They cut off her hair. Well, she had burns on her scalp. So they had to cut off her hair to apply treatment, I would imagine. There she is being fed. I don't know, I mean, I'm no expert here, but you can just sense like the desperation. You can sense malnourishment. Am I just being crazy? But I don't know. It's just like something unnerving. This is a child that is in need of hospital care, you know? The girl's hair had been cut off. She was suffering from malnutrition. Yeah. She had cracked ribs. She had several burn marks on her body, some of which were recent. These injuries are presumed to be from her mother and the mother's boyfriend. So, just to recap on that last point, before I drop a bombshell, Karen, the grandmother, had been trying to gain some level of access to the children, actually been trying to gain custody, I believe, for more than a year. Last week, she was granted permission to visit, so she immediately travelled to visit the two children. She arrived on Friday. She found the young girl, I believe she's 7 years old, to be in poor condition, burns on her scalp. She needed to be hospitalized. She was malnourished. And then later that day, the police informed the grandmother, Karen, that the 6-year-old boy's body had been found. That's really all that we know at this point in time. Seemingly, presumably, allegedly, in my judgment, going off this one article, the information within it, these two fucking pieces of absolute evil shit. The mother, 28 years of age. I get like dumbfounded by the ages. Like, they're young people. I don't know, am I wrong to think this way? How can they be this sick and twisted at this age, at like a young age? I don't know, maybe that's just weird thinking on my part. A 28-year-old woman, the mother. We've got one photo of her. I mean, I'm going to say something ridiculous, but she looks like a normal human being to me. Like, what's my point here is, I think I'm just making the point is that this could be our next door neighbor. These could be the guys that we work with or work alongside. These could be our neighbors. These could be our members of our family. These seem to be normal people if we go by appearances alone. And maybe that's ridiculous of me to suggest that. There's the mother's boyfriend. We keep hearing that term. But in this case, seemingly it's the both of them are believed to be guilty of murdering their 6-year-old boy, disposing of his body underneath the family floorboards, and also abusing severely his elder sister. I'm just going to comment on the boy. I'm going to make a silly comment perhaps. I'll have a look at this picture just because it's larger for the boy. We don't know his name or the girl's name. Again, I'm going to say this, it could be silly. He does not look happy, does he? He doesn't look like a happy boy. He looks like a troubled boy. Maybe that's silly of me to say so. But he looks like a troubled boy. He looks like he's pensive. You know, he's not thinking happy thoughts. He's probably in defense mode. And maybe there's his little sister, sorry, big sister, giving him some level of comfort, some level of love that he didn't get from his mother, from his mother's boyfriend. And unfortunately, the girl didn't receive that love either. She's been seemingly burnt on multiple occasions. So when they found her, she had burns on the scalp. And then they found burns all over her body. Some were recent. She was also suffering from malnutrition, cracked ribs. Many of the burns on her are in various stages of healing. What does that mean? That means that she suffered ongoing abuse. I feel so sorry for the family, the grandmother. She goes there to visit her grandchildren, and one of them has been hideously abused. One of them desperately needs hospital treatment. And later in the day, she's told that the other one is dead, buried underneath the floorboards. Her child is responsible. I'm not blaming the grandmother. That's all we have. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. Thoughts and prayers to the grandmother in particular, all those that knew the children. Let's hope that the girl makes a full recovery. I'm sure she will. I'm sure she'll be taken care of very well moving forward, but she's going to need a lot of support to overcome all of the trauma, the physical trauma, but more importantly, I would imagine the psychological, emotional trauma that's been caused. Her young baby boy, her young baby brother, was murdered by her own mother and her mother's boyfriend. We don't know how aware of that she is. She might be fully aware of it. It's just a sick tragedy. And let's hope that these two pure evil pieces of shit get all of the justice that they deserve. So I do hope that the investigation goes ahead unimpeded. I mean, if we think about it for 2 seconds, both children were found at the family home. I mean, it's got to be an open and shut case, doesn't it? They can argue amongst themselves as to who's most to blame, but that neither of them are going to be able to get out of this. They're both going to be found guilty. This happened in Arkansas. Is that in Tennessee? Forgive me, I'm not from America, but I'm guessing that Arkansas is in Tennessee. Do they have the death penalty? I would hope that they do. I hope that they do. And if that is the case, then please lock these two in for the death penalty. If that isn't the case, give them life in prison. No opportunity for parole. And allow the other inmates to have nice cozy chats with them on a regular basis. To pass on the brutality that they dished out to their 2 children, or to Ashley's 2 children, so that they can receive some of the same punishment. Nathan, how would you like to be burned on a regular basis? How would you like to have some cracked ribs? What is it that you did with your girlfriend's boy? What did you do to him? Gonna wrap things up here, guys. Take care.